En el siguiente vídeo podemos ver cómo Meacher, que estuvo presente en el Bilderberg 2013 y al que tuvimos la ocasión de entrevistar, pregunta en el Parlamento inglés a Kenneth Clarke, uno de los principales organizadores del Bilderberg, sobre este último. El Parlamento trata este asunto en un ambiente de mofa, ridiculizando a la gente que pregunta y sin tener en cuenta que el Bilderberg es una de las reuniones secretas donde asisten las personas más influyentes del mundo occidental. Aquí os dejo el vídeo.
As an urgent question, I rise to ask the Chancellor of the Exchequer to now make a statement on the Bilderberg conference which he attended.
Mr. Speaker, this is the first occasion for me, as I've never previously answered a question in the House of Commons on behalf of a private organisation for which the government has no responsibility. I have actually been a member of the steering committee of Bilderberg for many years now, I think about 10 years, and by chance actually this is my last year because we have a rule against being on the committee for too long, so I'm on the point of stepping down. Others are timeless with no rules at all, but this particular role I have now reached the end of my allotted span. The Bilderberg organisation exists for the purpose of holding meetings once a year in various countries. It exists for no other purpose, and this year the meeting was held at a large hotel near Watford in Hertfordshire. I didn't receive adequate notice of this question as it happens, because I wasn't found in time to put to hand the list of those who participated and the agenda which we discussed, but we always circulate those before the meeting and they're readily available, and I can certainly put any honourable member in touch with a source of the list of those who took part. Each year we invite something over 100 people. It was about 140 this year, drawn from both sides of the Atlantic, from Europe, including Turkey, and from the United States and Canada. The people who attend are drawn from the worlds of government, politics, academia, defence, journalism. We all attend the people who attend change slightly each year. There's a core of those who regularly attend. Different people come. Well, I'm trying to guess at what on earth people are asking a parliamentary question about this for and what they're interested in. All the people who attend as individuals. We invite people as individuals. Nobody attends representing any particular organisation to which they might belong. And a very interesting 2 or 3 days take place in which we have discussions on matters of public affairs. There's a very wide range of experience, a very wide range of political opinion represented, and I always find it greatly adds to the depth of my understanding of what is being talked about and contemplated in many parts of the States and in Europe as well. And it's one of many political gatherings I attend from time to time as part of the background to my activities.
Michael Meacher.
I thank the right honourable gentleman for that filibuster. The Bilderberg conference comprises about 130 of the world's, or Western world's, top decision makers, from the banks, the multinational companies, the EU Commission. I'm coming to the politicians, also from WTO, IMF, World Bank, and of course leading politicians from the US, Canada, Eurozone and the UK. And I think, though they were clearly discussing some of the biggest issues confronting the Western economies at this time, why have we had no statement either from the Prime Minister or from the Chancellor or indeed from the Minister without portfolio, all of whom attended in an official capacity? Why did they offer no statement, even though such decisions may well have a significant effect on UK government policy or the livelihood of future UK citizens? It is said by some, and indeed by the right honourable gentleman, that Bilderberg is a conspiracy. Of course it's not a conspiracy. But at the same time, 130 of the world's top decision makers don't travel thousands of miles simply for a cosy chat. They have come here in order to concert their plans to deal with a particularly awkward stage in Western capitalism, and as such, we, the public, are entitled to ask some questions and to hold them to account. The Prime Minister said in 2010, and I quote his words, "For too long those in power make decisions behind closed doors and deny people the power to hold them to account. This coalition is driving a wrecking ball through that culture, and it's called transparency." And the Chancellor himself announced his commitment in 2010, and I quote again, "to the most radical transparency agenda the country has ever seen." So why is there no transparency about a very crucial meeting that could affect us all? Finally, can he explain how the Prime Minister, at the start of last week, can announce a crackdown on corruption and lack of transparency amongst lobbyists, and then he and the Chancellor, by the end of the week, are insisting that the largest and most powerful lobbyist group in the Western Hemisphere, an anti-democratic cabal if ever there was one, should operate in conditions of utter blackout and complete secrecy?
The Bilderberg meeting does not take any decisions. It doesn't have any resolutions. We couldn't possibly reach decisions because of the range of opinions actually represented there. It is purely a Chatham House rules discussion between the people he describes. And amongst those there, the Shadow Chancellor was there, Peter Mandelson was there, Prime Minister was there, Chancellor of the Exchequer was there. And most of us said things which, in the discussions, which wouldn't have come as a surprise to any of us, because we knew what our opinions were. We go there for the chance of having an off-the-record, informal discussion with the range of people he's described, who are indeed distinguished, but are not remotely interested in getting together to decide or organise anything. If the honourable member actually would like to have an invitation, that's what really lies behind, then I will take his own distinguished claims on participation in the group carefully into account, though I will, of course, consult the Shadow Chancellor before taking this a step further. But this really, with the greatest respect, is total, utter nonsense. And I would normally regard the honourable member as not the sort of person to be taken in by this sort of rubbish. We all take part in lots of political and other discussions as private individuals on Chatham House rules, where we do not expect everybody to go out giving a version of what we've just said. Nobody alters their opinions when we're there. On transparency, this government is by a street the most transparent government that I have ever been in. But we can only be transparent for those things for which the government has responsibility, and what we're doing as a government.
That when all those media moguls, the bankers, politicians have been meeting together since 1954, not one of them was able to spot the recession coming. Or maybe they caused it.
We have had trade unions there sometimes. There are plenty of social democrats. I don't think anybody as left-wing as the honourable member has ever attended in my experience, but if I scratch my memory I probably remember somebody. Obviously the honourable member forecast with absolute precision the course of the forthcoming collapse of capitalism in 2007. In that respect, I do agree his foresight was rather better than that of most pundits. We continue to meet in the hope that next time we'll see it coming with slightly more clarity.
Mr. John Redwood. As many UKIP voters fear that the Bilderberg Group is a plot to promote more unaccountable European government, could my right honourable friend give them any reassurance or suggestion as to why they may be wrong in that thought?
Well, nowadays we get accused of plots to overthrow to establish a government of the world, to poison the local water courses, to plan an invasion of the United States of America. 10 years ago, I was told I was attending a plot to hand over Britain to Brussels and to subordinators to the United States of Europe.
Mr. Philip Davis.
Speaker, I know I can't be described as a rising star, and so should I not presume that my invitation was lost in the post? But can the Minister explain to us whether or not, either formally or informally, he took the opportunity whilst there to discuss his campaign to keep the UK within the European Union, and which members of the European Union were actually at this particular conference?
Well, firstly, he would not be surprised to know that I don't think I'm being too indiscreet to say that the subject of the future of the European Union and Britain's participation in it did come up from time to time in the weekend. From many countries, people do have actually quite a strong interest in that subject. So it was discussed, but again, on Chatham House rules, and no conclusions of any kind were reached, I can assure him.